Okay, we are live.
Awesome. Do you guys think that most people are familiar with Kahoot?
That I know of, yes.
Yeah.
But
Same.
Okay.
Plenty of people at Stony Brook, I think, and as well as like I guess probably from high schools around the area, if not across the country and world. that have
Gotcha.
familiar with
Okay.
it.
Cool. Yeah, we use it with our new hire orientation. So I figured, this was like a fun way to utilize it, at least during the hackathon.
I agree. I guess question for Brian. Would you be able to modify it, set things up so that we don't hear the like the little ding every time someone comes in? I know some I just more of like a so it doesn't like just constantly appear in the background type thing.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Happy to see everybody here. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Now we'll wait probably a few more minutes and see if anybody else joins before we go ahead and get started. I'm sure everybody's ready to start hacking, so I promise I won't make this too long, but I will make it informative. Ooh, that's a great freeze frame of me, Brian. Oof.
Sorry?
I'm looking on Discord and the
Oh no.
the freeze frame that's on there, it's horrible.
YouTube really does people dirty.
It does me real dirty. That's real bad.
We can
Yeah,
fix it in post. We can fix it in post production. I think.
Yeah, we can fix it post production. It'll be fine.
It's all good.
Hey,
I look
it's
so
one for-
angry.
It's one for the memory books.
Oh God.
Like,
All of a sudden I looked on my other monitor and I'm like, oh God. This is not a good look.
so we're just gonna remove embeds. Okay, you don't see your face anymore in the unembedded.
Love it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, Brian, just let me know when you guys want me to start. We can wait a couple more minutes, see if anybody else is gonna join.
Let's give it till 5 after.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll wait till about 5 after because I want to make sure I'm respecting everybody's time that hopped on time. That way you guys can, get your information and get back to coding. Wow, no one likes to turn their camera on. I mean, I won't force anybody to, but I mean,
a very interesting thing. So
I like seeing people.
same. An interesting thing. So when COVID started last year, my security professor was he was the only professor to say of everyone to say, by the way, turn when we're on Zoom, turn your cameras on. I want to still simulate. He still wants to simulate like a classroom, and I totally understand that. But the funny thing is when I transferred to every other course, I think I was the only one maybe that had their camera on besides the professor.
Oh wow.
And so, I'm sorry, in some cases no one else had no one had their thing. I was just we're staring at a screen while someone types stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, we encourage everybody to have their cameras on just because it promotes, still that good communication and collaboration between people because, otherwise talking to a black screen, that's not fun.
I feel that when I was the following this time last year when I was still at Stony Brook, I was TAing a course where everything kind of I was the only one that had my camera on, and so whenever I asked for questions, I never it was very rare that someone unmuted themselves. I had to prod, and I think by mid-October people finally started relenting a little.
Yeah, I think it depends on the professor too, and what they require. And my husband, he's going to school now, and his professors, they all required him to either have his camera on or the mic on. There was something to make sure that you were actually there and paying attention.
It was a fun time.
Yeah. Oh yes, got another person with their camera on. I love it. Hi, is it Sabit? Yes.
Awesome.
I get so nervous pronouncing people's names, and if I say it wrong, please correct me. All right, so it's 7:05. We'll go ahead and get started. That way you guys can get back to your coding. Is that all good, Ben?
Works for me, yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So this is going to be an interactive presentation. So if you don't, make sure to grab your phone because we're going to be using Kahoot. So it'll be nice and fun. All right. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to share my screen now. All right. Can everybody see my screen? Perfect. All right. Awesome. All right. So today's event is going to be how to shine during recruitment. So I know that recruitment can be a little nerve-wracking. So I wanted to kind of take this time to walk everybody through it and, make it a little bit easier for everybody and give you some tips and tricks. So let's see. So if you don't already know me, My name is Taylor Devaney. I am the Senior Talent Acquisition Specialist here at Softheon. I have been with Softheon a little over 3 years. If you have been with Stony Brook or been to a previous hackathon, I'm sure that you've seen me before. I'm very involved with campus and everything like that. So I'm very excited to be here. Softheon is super excited to be the title sponsor this year of Stony Brook Hacks. So we're super excited to be here, and thank you to the team for allowing us to give this presentation. If anyone has any questions or anything during the presentation, feel free to shoot them in the messages or unmute yourself. We can make this as interactive as possible. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to go over the agenda really quick. So the agenda, we're going to do a little introduction to the event. We're going to go over who is Softheon. We're going to cover, sorry about that. Oh, no. Sorry, technical difficulties over here. As you can tell, I'm not a tech person. So we're going to go over who is Softheon, how do I stand out at a career fair, how can I get a response to my application, how can I ace the interview process, what benefits does Softheon offer, and then we'll open it up to a live Q&A. Does that sound good? Perfect. All right. So our first question is going to be, who is Softheon? Now, before I give you my elevator pitch, I'd like everybody to take out their phones. Okay, you're going to go into kahoot.it. All right. And then once we do that, I'm going to pull up Kahoot, okay? And then it should be loading the game pin. All right, so the game pin is 6599778. All right, so if you guys want to join that, awesome. Perfect. And again, there's no right or wrong answers. I just wanted to make this as fun and interactive as possible. Since we are virtual, it's a little hard to do that. So hopefully you guys have a little fun doing this. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, we're missing 3. I'm not sure if everybody wants to play, but I'll give it a minute and then we'll go ahead. All right, well, we'll go ahead and start. Perfect. All right, is everybody ready? Perfect.
Let's go.
All right, so let's see. Our first question, what does Softheon do? So it's going to give you a few answers. I'm going to select which answer you'd like, and then we'll go over the answer afterwards. So your 3 choices are: we are an internet-based e-commerce cloud. We are a manufacturer, marketer, and seller of vitamins and supplements. We provide tech-driven solutions to banks and mutual funds, or we create software as a service for health insurance companies. All right, so 5 of you got it right. I'm sure the 5 of you have heard my speech multiple times of what Softheon does. So now I'm going to go back to my slide and I'll just kind of walk you through, what Softheon does or who we are. So in Kahoot, as it said, so we are a software development company. We create software for health insurance companies. Okay, so we do everything on the back end. So we have, we create their marketplace, gathering data, normalizing it, sending it out, doing their entire payment platform, as well as asset verification. So we do everything in the health insurance field. And then from there, we work with private health insurance companies. We work with brokers and state exchanges. And then we work with the government, Medicare, Medicaid, and things like that. Okay, so we're definitely in a very unique section, but we all love what we do. And I think, you know, everybody that works at Softheon really has a passion for, you know, healthcare and wanting to help people. You know, if we're not good with, you know, being doctors or anything like that, you know, at least on this side, we can help people and make sure that they're getting the insurance that they need to, you know, get the medication or the surgery that they might need. Okay, so we'll go next. All right. So my next slide is going to be, how do I stand out at a career fair? So we're going to go back to Kahoot, and this one is going to be a little different. I'm going to just have you guys enter in some different suggestions. Okay. So we're going to get another game pin. So the pin is 7078094. I feel like I'm calling out numbers like it's bingo.
I won.
Maybe next time we'll do like a Jeopardy type game. Bingo. Great names, guys. Love it.
The B in SBU hacks is for bingo, so.
Perfect. All right. Does anyone else want to join before we go ahead and get started? All right. So we'll go ahead and start. All right. So how can you stand out at a career fair? All right. So I'd like everyone to just submit some words of how you think you can stand out at a career fair. It could be anything, you know, a resume, anything like that. I'm just curious to see, you know, what your guys' thoughts are. You feel free to, you know, add more than one answer. You know, sometimes what one person might think is better, someone else might not realize it. So putting it out like this is just going to help other people. Dress to impress. Interesting. Okay, so we got dress to impress, good elevator pitch, good resume, networking, and then G plus F plus A internship. What does that mean?
If you interned at Google, Facebook, and Amazon,
Oh,
all of them combined.
wow. Okay. See, you should really change one of them to like an S for Softheon, but I won't. I'll leave that there. That's very interesting. Is that like a known thing, like Google, Facebook, Amazon internship?
Some people do it, yeah, but some people just stay at Google for like 2 summers.
Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you. I learned something new. Very cool. All right. So I'm going to go over my tips. Now, your tips were fantastic. I'm not too sure how Google, Facebook, and Amazon internship will help you stand out. It might help you stand out during the recruitment process. Maybe not at the career fair, but definitely dress to impress, good resume, things like that. Awesome. So for standing out at a career fair, some of my suggestions are research who you want to talk to at the career fair. I have been to so many career fairs where people come up to me, and especially the virtual ones where you have to actually sign up to meet with me, that people have no idea what we do, who we are. They know nothing. You know, and that's okay. If if you're going to just learn more, that's absolutely fine. But if you're asking more targeted questions, you might want to take that extra step and just research who you want to talk to. Because by you preparing, it's going to help you prepare when you're all nervous and you're going up to these people at the career fair and you're asking them all these questions. By doing all this research beforehand, It's just going to help you keep those nerves calm. You can write down your notes prior to this and say, okay, when I meet with Softheon, this is what I want to ask them. That way, when you get to, talking to myself or Marina, you can say, okay, I researched your company. These are the questions that I have. I personally love targeted questions because it shows me that you are truly interested in what we have to offer as a company. Okay. Research possible job openings. I think that's, something that's important, especially if you're looking for an internship. You want to make sure that that company is actually having an internship. With COVID, I think it kind of threw things for a loop. So just by doing your research is just going to make you feel better, because as soon as someone says, no, we don't have an internship, it might make you nervous and say, oh my gosh, well, now I don't have any questions. So just by looking that up, it's just going to help you better prepare. Update your resume. So updating your resume is super important. You want to make sure that you have your most relevant information on there. Okay. And I mean, if you did something yesterday that you have a career fair today, you don't need to stress to get it on there. But any projects that you have, any internships that you've done, you definitely want to add those to your resume. Those are going to be key, especially when, some people don't have the time to do an internship over the summer. Your projects have just enough value on your resume to get you to that next step. Okay. And then optional is to create a cover letter. I would only do this at a career fair if you know that you're speaking to a specific company. Okay, and you want to stand out to this specific company. So say you were going to talk to me at Softheon and you said, Taylor, I really want a software engineer position. Here's my resume and here's my cover letter. Now on that cover letter, it's going to say, to whom it may concern, I'm very excited to apply to Softheon and things like that, where you're making it more specific. It just shows us that you're putting in the effort and you're going to go the extra mile. Any questions so far? Or any thoughts, comments, concerns? Okay. All right. So how can I get a response to my application? So these are some questions that I want you to ask yourself when you're saying, how can I get a response to my application? Okay. You're going to want to ask, did I submit everything that the company asked for? Okay. So when you are submitting your application, maybe they're requiring a cover letter. Maybe they're requiring your transcript. You need to make sure that you're looking at all these different sections to make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do to make sure that you're saying, okay, here's everything that you asked for. Now the ball is in your court. Because if you're not giving them everything, they might need certain things to be able to move forward. So they might not be able to move forward if they don't have everything from you. So just make sure that you're reading through everything very carefully, read through the job posting, make sure that you're submitting everything that they need. Okay. Do you meet the minimum requirements of the job? So I've had people that apply to a lead developer position and they are fresh out of college. On the job posting, it says that we're looking for someone with 5 to 7 years of experience. I applaud you for applying to something that is kind of above where your level might be at, but I do want you to understand that if a company is looking for a certain amount of experience, that they may not respond to you because they don't have anything available at that time for you, that the job that you applied for isn't a match. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to keep your resume on file and wait until something comes up. That's what we do at Softheon. If you don't match a position perfectly, we'll actually keep your resume in our talent pool. That way, as soon as a position opens up that we feel you might be qualified for, we'll be able to put your resume in there, even though some people beat us to it and apply to it before we get there. Another one is there an option to write a cover letter? I personally love cover letters. I know that it's kind of controversial with some people. I know that not everybody sees value in a cover letter, but for me, I love to read people's cover letters. I think that they tell your story. You know, your resume is obviously going to be very standard, but every resume looks the same. Everybody has the same qualifications. I want to know about you. I want to know why you're passionate about, you know, applying here or getting a job in software development or product management. This is your opportunity to stand out and to say, you know, dear Taylor, hey, I did my research and I found you on LinkedIn and I know that you've been there for 3 years, you know, so I'm going to say, hey, you know, I know that you've been there for 3 years, you know, and by the looks of that, you know, I feel that this would be a great place for me to work. You know, I've seen a lot of the people that work there. You know, I'm really impressed with your mission statement and your company values. Just by going that little extra mile is going to stand out and is going to just make you that much higher. Okay. And then my last point is all your contact information up to date? Okay, so I have had a couple people ask me, should I leave my school email address on my resume? Okay, and I know that's really where a lot of people go. I would highly, highly suggest you create a second professional email that's strictly for your applications. Okay, because if you're applying to jobs after you graduate, I think it's maybe like 1 or 2 years after you graduate, they get rid of your school email address. So let's say, you know, Softheon was holding on to your resume and, oh my gosh, Priscilla has the exact experience that we're looking for. Let me send her an email, and I email her and I get a bounce back email that this email is no longer in service. Now what am I supposed to do? So one of my suggestions is definitely create that separate email. That way you always have it. You know, make sure to add your phone number. That way if someone wants to contact you, but definitely make sure that all that contact information is up to date and correct, because that's going to be huge when someone's reaching out to you. Okay. Any questions or comments on how can I get a response on my application? Okay. All right, how can I ace the interview process? All right, so a few of my steps are going to be prepare, prepare, prepare. I cannot say this enough. And this is with any job, whether it's technical, non-technical, anything. You want to come prepared, okay? You want to research the company that you're interviewing with. Okay, because you have to remember that when you're interviewing with this company, not only are they interviewing you, but this is your opportunity to interview them. Okay, I don't want you to go into the interview and say, oh, you know, whatever questions they ask me, fine, I don't really have any other questions. That's your opportunity to say, okay, you know, to sit down beforehand. Okay, what do I want in a company? What kind of culture do I want? What kind of manager do I want? What kind of benefits do I want? Now, a lot of these things are going to be kind of like, oh, I wouldn't even think of that. But preparing for that and thinking of those questions ahead of time, you're going to write them all down. And then when you're in that interview and the interviewer turns it over to you and says, hey, what questions do you have? And you pull out your list of questions. Oh my God, that makes me so excited, because I'm like, wow, this person is really serious about working here. That means that they are serious about their career and getting their job. Now, obviously, you don't have to do any of this, and it doesn't mean that you're not serious or you're not motivated. So please don't take it that way. For me, it makes it stand out that much more when I've seen people do the research and come prepared to the interview. I can also tell in their body language, you know, when they've done research on the company and they've done research on the interviewers that are on the panel, they're more comfortable versus the people that go in blind. They get a little more nervous and they don't have questions to ask, but then at the end they email me and say, Taylor, I have all these questions, you know, and I would love to say I'm the best person to ask, but I can only answer so many questions. You know, I'm not a developer. I can't answer specific, you know, development questions. So I definitely want you to just keep that in mind. Okay. Check your setup. Okay. So what I mean by that is your Wi-Fi, your microphone, your sound, your background, everything like that. Okay. One of my, I love these virtual these virtual career fairs, so I get to see everybody, but I hate that Handshake doesn't let me put on a virtual background. For me, I think it's distracting when I can see everybody's background and when they can see mine. I have my pictures up on the wall, and I want to just have a conversation. So I think it's super important because you also don't want to be stressing out, okay, my Wi-Fi, what if it doesn't work? What if someone comes in the room? I like to put a note on my door, tell my husband, hey, I'm going on a call right now, take care of the dog, please don't bother me until I open the door. That way, everybody in the house is aware of what's going on and no one's going to bother me and take me out of that interview time frame. Okay. I think that's going to be super important. It's just going to add less stress for you. Okay. And then my last tip is going to be follow up. So for me, I love when people follow up, and it can be as simple as, dear Taylor, thank you so much to you and the panel for taking the time to meet with me today. I truly appreciated it. If you need anything else from me during this process, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you again. It can be as simple as that. And that will go such a long way. Now, let's say you had a specific conversation in, this interview. So I'll give you an example. When I was in the career fair earlier, my husband brought in a drink for me from Taco Bell, and the person I interviewed was like, oh, I can't stop talking about the Taco Bell drink that's in your background. And for me, if she sends me a follow-up email and says, thank you so much for talking to me today, even though we got a little off topic about Taco Bell, I truly appreciated it. By just throwing in that little bit, it just makes it that much better because you're adding in a little bit of, personality to that email. So you don't have to go overboard with it, but a little thank you is going to go a very long way. Okay. Any questions on how can I ace the interview process? All right, awesome. So now I want to go over what benefits does Softheon offer. So this is going to be our final Kahoot that we're going to open up. So if you guys want to open up Kahoot, it's going to be the same deal as last time, where I'm going to have you guys submit what kind of benefits you'd like to see from a company. Okay, so the PIN is 6570136. Okay. And basically I like to do this question just because being in college, no one ever told me what benefits to ask for or what benefits to look for. Obviously, like I spoke to like my mom and my dad, but each company is different. So I didn't really know what to ask for or what to look for in an interview. So I like to go over this so that not only can I show you what you guys are looking for, but what Softheon offers as well. Awesome. All right. Anybody else want to join at the last minute before we go ahead and start? All right. All right. So employee benefits. So I'd like you guys to submit what type of benefits you would like to see from a company. Now, keep in mind, this can be tuition reimbursement. It could be PTO. It could be work from home. It could be pet insurance. It can be certificate reimbursement, anything like that. There's so many different types of benefits that people might be looking for. 3 answers for 6. Oh, Okay, we got at least 6. All right. All right, let's take a look. Perfect. All right. So obviously our biggest one is health insurance. We got dental, PPO. Is that supposed to be PPO or PTO? Either way, I'll go over both. Loan repayment, 401k, vacation days, and fair pay. All great benefits. Okay. These are all fantastic to look at. Okay. So let's see here. All right. So this is our little like cloud that we created. We used to have like a Softheon cloud, but this is specifically for our benefits. Okay, so you're gonna have your different sections. So you have your employee perks. So we have our community outreach, PTO, and employer donation match. So basically this is if you want to go out and do community service and you want to go and do a community service day at a pet shelter, you can do that. You'd actually get a PTO day off to do that. And then we would actually donate money to them for the hours that you worked there. Okay, we give you branded swag, which is always fun. Who doesn't like swag, right? Rewards and recognition platform, quarterly outings, and then our Softheon Olympics. We have continuous learning, so we have tuition reimbursement. Unfortunately, we don't do loan reimbursement, but we do tuition reimbursement. So if you did want to go for your master's or something, as long as it related to what you were working for, then we would provide that. Pluralsight, monthly learning electives, and LinkedIn Learning, which everyone has access to. Benefits, we offer medical, dental, life, vision, and a 401k match. And then wellness, we offer a monthly wellness stipend and then an employee assistance program. So we do offer a lot. So what you'll notice is not on here is that fair pay. Okay. The only reason it's not included in here is because that's not really a benefit. Okay, that's your worth. That should be a given. Benefits or anything added on top of your base pay. Okay, and then with your PTO, please keep in mind some companies have a PTO program, paid time off, where it's all lumped together. Okay, so your vacation, sick, and personal days are all rolled into one. Okay, there are some companies though that will have them completely separate, where you'll have a week of sick time, 2 weeks of vacation, and a week of personal time. Okay, where it's specific with what you have to use it for. Whereas Softheon, we do a general PTO plan where it kind of goes over, you know, everything is all lumped together. And then what's great at Softheon is once you hit 3 years at Softheon, you actually get to unlimited PTO, which is a huge bonus that a lot of companies do not offer. So obviously you have to work up your way to get there, but it's very generous even before that. From 0 to 1 years, you're going to get 15 days of PTO. From 1 to 2 years, you get 23. And then from 2 to 3 years, you'll get 26. So still a great amount of time off, but getting to that 3-year mark is awesome. All right, so we got a question. Can you please explain the Olympics? I don't think I've ever heard of this one before. It looks interesting. Yes, so I personally love the Softheon Olympics. Obviously, pre-COVID, we did this in person. But the last 2 years, we've had to do it virtual. When you join Softheon, you are given a color team. Okay, so we have 4 color teams at Softheon. So every year in August, we have our Summer Olympics. So not only is this a great team building exercise, but it also allows us to raise money for charity. Okay, so during the Olympics, it's a week-long program. When we were in person, it was a little different, but I'm going to go the virtual route because now that we're remote, we've hired across the country. So I'm thinking that we're more going to stay with the remote setting. So what we've been doing is each day you're going to have a different event. Okay, so one day you might have Jeopardy, one day you're going to have trivia, one day you're going to have a virtual escape room, you know, different things like that. So it's super fun. Anybody that is on your color team has the option to attend and submit. Okay. So basically anybody on that team can participate, and you have plenty of time to plan it out and figure out, you know, when you want to play. Each team is going to pick their charity that they're going to raise money for. Okay. So as you're winning these events, you're winning more money for your charity that we're going to donate. And then on top of that, we also do a raffle at Softheon that all the money gets donated to the winning charity. Okay, so the more your team raises, that's where your money is going to go. I believe ours this year was St. Jude's, and we raised about $8,000 for them. So it's so great, you know, it really brings everybody together, and it allows everybody to kind of just decompress from the day, have some fun, you know, and it's nice to just get everybody together on the same playing field. I hope that answered your question about the Olympics. In person, it was much different though. We had races out in the back of Seawit, where we were riding tricycles and doing an egg toss, and it was crazy. But obviously can't do an egg toss in, you know, New York and California at the same time. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So my next slide, I promise I'm almost done. I just wanted to let you guys know that last year we did an event with Stony Brook where myself and the rest of the talent team, we actually interviewed some people from our teams to basically answer some questions that you guys might have. Okay, so if you're interested in looking at these videos, if you go to the Softheon YouTube page, you're going to look for the blue logo. There's going to be 2 pages there, but you're going to want to look for like the new blue Softheon logo. And there's different videos on there about project management, IT, business operations, software development, product management, and then our different SVPs, general managers have done some videos as well. Okay, so this is just something that I want you guys to keep in the back of your mind if you're ever interested. That way you're not like, well, Taylor didn't really answer that question. I might not have known the answer, but maybe Michelle would know. So definitely check out the videos. They're not too long. We ask a bunch of questions that you guys might have. So it's just a nice tool to have. Okay. And that's the end of my slide. I figured I'll turn it over to you guys. I'll open it up if anybody has any questions that you have. I'm here. We have about another 20 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can send them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. Or if you're ready to go, you know, feel free to log off and happy hacking.
So hi Taylor.
Hi.
Hi there. So I have one question I want to ask, which is
Sure.
what kind of stack do you guys use?
So we use C#.NET and SQL Server. We're a Microsoft shop. On the front end, we use Angular. Now I know that a lot of people aren't going to have, you know, that C# experience, but we were really looking for someone that has, you know, Java or object-oriented programming languages. That's really what's going to be able to help you. But again, as long as you're willing to learn, you know, we're willing to teach.
Of course. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other questions from anybody?
I guess curious for one thing. Look, I saw the monthly learning certificate or something, I think, during in the benefits slide. I was curious what kind of what range does that entail? Is it just like limited to like say like certain topics, or does it depend on like what's offered?
The monthly
Okay.
learning electives.
Yeah, yes.
So those ones are specifically taught by our training department at Softheon. Okay, so those we have done some on time management, stress management. We've done thinking upstream, where you actually have to read a book first that's going to help you like with agile and product management and how to prepare yourself. We've done some on an intro to SQL Server. I'm trying to think. We've done a ton of electives. Those definitely are based on whatever we're doing at that time. But again, we've had people request, hey, can you do a presentation on product management? Absolutely. And then our team's going to work on it. And maybe in the next quarter, they'll be able to do a couple electives of that. Besides that, if maybe there's something you want to learn that we're not covering in those monthly learning electives, every single person at Softheon has a LinkedIn Learning account. LinkedIn Learning has so many videos that you can watch that it is just amazing how much you can learn on there. And not only from that, we also have Softheon University. Softheon University is basically when you come into Softheon, your first 4 years at Softheon, you basically have a list of tasks, not really tasks, but things to complete in your first, second, third, fourth year. Okay, now these are things that will help you, presenting, learning different, soft skills or hard skills. These are things that really everybody should learn to help with their professional development. That's really what we like to focus on. So each year you're going to be completing these. And then once you get to your senior year, you'll be a Softheon University graduate. So it's a little fun and it gives you an opportunity to continue to work on yourself. Even if you get bogged down with, your daily work life, this is still going to give you that opportunity to focus on your professional development and continue to grow yourself.
Cool. Sounds like fun.
Yes, it is. It's awesome. Any other questions from anybody? If not, I appreciate you guys taking the time to come and chat with me today. Are the slides shared with us? I can share them. I'll work with the team. Priscilla, maybe I'll work with you and figure out how I can get some of the slides to you. That way they can be sent out. But otherwise, if you guys have any questions, I'll be monitoring the chat on Discord. So definitely feel free to go into the Softheon chat if you guys have any other questions. I believe one of our mentors is going to log on later. And then I'm excited to see your projects tomorrow at judging. All right. So happy hacking, everybody. Thank you for joining and have a great night.
Thanks so much for the presentation.
No problem. Have a great night, everybody.